Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne. And today I've got a very special guest. You may recognize her from the TikTok. Is Meredith Lynch. Meredith is a TikTok extraordinaire. I want her to teach me her ways of how to get more than 10,000 followers on Instagram. Meredith, I don't want to brag, but I currently have 2,000 followers on TikTok.
You can go live.
What would that do for me?
Honestly, not a hell of a lot.
Okay.
I always tell people going live is if you want to have the absolute most troll experience, that's going live. When I go live, it's the worst.
It's like, you're ugly. Why are you here? Nobody cares. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of speculations that I'm pregnant when I go live. I'm like,
what?
I feel like I would know before you, person watching my live.
But people go live because they send and we've seen this on 90 Day Fiance, people sometimes meet on TikTok because they send a flower or something and it's $1 or then you make money that way, huh?
Yeah, no one's sending me that. If anything, they're just taking money away from me.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So on your TikTok, you talk about a lot of things, right? I saw yesterday, you're okay, listen, here I am at my salon. My guy's going to explain what he's doing to my hair, which I found interesting because I am a person who I've never colored my hair. I have one little piece here that has gotten kind of white since I had my son. He's 18. And so just recently I go in and she puts a dark thing on the white, but that's it. So I'm fascinated by the hair coloring that people do. Fascinated.
You have never had your hair colored? I mean,
not all over, just this little piece.
Yeah. We're not counting that. We're not. Yeah.
No, I've never had foils all over my head or anything. My oldest sister.
Beautiful.
Oh, my oldest sister does. Her hair is kind of naturally more of a brown, and it does get a little gray, and she colors it. But my middle sister and I are the same in that we've always had kind of this strawberry blonde, and we don't have to color it. And that was what our grandmother had. So listen, I pay a lot of money to get my eyebrows dyed and lots of other shit. So it's just, I spend money on other things on my face and whatnot, but not my hair.
Let me tell you, I'm spending all that money too, plus the hair. The hair is a mortgage payment, okay? It's a quarterly mortgage payment to people.
I know. But I do like that, you talk about important, serious topics, but then you also talk about all right, I just got this stuff from Sephora and I'm going to tell you what, this is good. It's not good. They're not paying me. And I like that. I really now speaking of our friend, Bethenny, I really liked when Bethenny was normal on TikTok and would go in. And because she's around my age and she would put on things and be like, okay, this is good. If you're got older skin, whatever, this sucks. This is good. This is $300. It's crap. This is $12. It's good. I liked that. Even she's completely manic and it makes me a nervous wreck, but I liked that. Her daughter seems to have taken up that mantle and is also doing makeup.
Oh, she is. She's doing makeup videos.
Yeah. But what I want to talk to you about the Bethenny thing, and say what you can and say what you can't, whatever. Okay. You posted something about Bethenny, and basically you were just talking, my understanding is you're just talking about her companies that she has. It's sort of she's trademarked these things and she's done this and done that. And maybe people should look into it more. And she did not like that and sent you a cease and desist.
Yes. I mean, that is kind of the Cliff Notes of it. Cliff Notes. But Bethenny to me is someone who I was noticing a lot of hypocrisy. And so I was starting to call it out, and she was blocking me, or she had blocked me. And, for example, she would critique the Kardashians and say, why do you have to have all this shapewear and change your body and have all these companies? Well, Bethenny's the same thing. She's had a shapewear line.
I was about to say, yeah.
They're both capitalistic nightmares. Just one of them is arguably more successful, right?
Okay, right.
Have been more successful. So I just felt like it was a bit hypocritical. And so I would kind of call out the bullshit. And so she had blocked me ages ago. And then she kept doing these videos where she kept yelling, it's a scam. It's a scam. And this would be about the makeup products. Hey, here's this lipstick. It's, $30. It's a scam. And I love to get into the weeds. And so I found that she had trademarked It's a Scam
Okay.
over a like year and a half, or maybe about a year before she started making these videos where she would yell, "It's a scam."
So she's tried to make it a thing like Dorinda's clip or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Mention it all.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
She
Okay.
trademarked it. That's fine. But her whole thing was becoming, well, I was never into makeup. I don't know anything about makeup. And if you go back and look, and I don't know if they're still up, but believe me, if y'all want the screenshots, I'll give you the screenshots. She had been making YouTube makeup tutorial videos back in 2012.
Oh.
She was doing these same videos, sitting in her apartment, sitting backstage when she had the beauty show. Oh, here's this product. Here's that product. I'm using this. I'm not using that. She was doing this like 10 years ago. Okay. And so her whole narrative of like, and very much at the time it was, I've never been into makeup. I don't know anything about makeup. I'm learning with you guys. There's these videos of her from 2012, which by the way, I screen recorded because I was like, she's going to take these down.
Yeah.
They would be like, oh, sometimes I like it even more when I do my makeup versus when somebody else does. This makeup product is it's the same thing. She knows about makeup. So what I saw happening is what I see with a lot of celebrity brands is that they create a narrative, they create a story. Oh, I didn't know anything about this. And so that's why I had to, make this brand or build this thing or whatever. So anyway, I called out it's a scam. I said, hey, look, she trademarked it a while ago and now she's yelling it all the time, probably because it will launch it to a new brand. That's my opinion.
Okay. It's going to be called Scam Mascara.
Exactly. Or, just a podcast called It's a Scam or whatever. And so she now has a podcast called De-Influenced where she talks, I don't know if she's still doing it, but she has like 40 podcasts. I mean,
yeah, she does.
Right,
she does.
She's busy. So someone contacted me maybe a few days after I put up that video and they said, listen, I want to give you a heads up. I think she's going to send you a cease and desist over that video. And sure enough, she did. And
again, don't you think when you do that, it's drawing more attention to it anyway? So like maybe people that didn't see it now are going to go try to see what you said. So it's good for you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you at the time, it didn't feel good.
Right.
Because the cease and desist first off, it had no specifics in it. Usually a cease and desist is going to say, here are the things that you did. This is you said XYZ thing. The cease and desist that I got from Bethenny just said, you are not allowed to say Bethenny's name. You are not allowed to show her picture. You are not allowed to talk about her. And, there was no specifics. There was no, use, because I got one from Rachel Zoe before and it was very specific.
Okay.
And so basically I was like, this cease and desist is kind of bullshit. But it also said, if you tell anyone that Bethenny sent this to you, you will be breaking your confidentiality with Bethenny Frankel, and she will be able to sue you further. And I was like, whoa, back up. I don't have confidentiality with Bethenny Frankel. I don't have an NDA with Bethenny Frankel. A cease and desist is not a legally binding document. That is legal bullying. And I mean, I've posted, if people don't believe me, you can go on my TikTok and find the video. I've shown the letter where it said that. That was so upsetting to me. And you have to keep in mind, I am just one person. I, am not wealthy. At the time, my husband was in graduate school and not working. We don't have tons of money. So to use your power like this is really ridiculous, I think, and unfair. And it's bullying. I mean, and I did contact a lawyer and, I have been told by people that her lawyer actually could get in trouble with the Bar Association for sending that cease and desist specifically around you'll be breaking confidentiality if you tell anyone.
So you don't know her. You've never met her. You didn't work for her and sign a confidentiality or an NDA. So that really doesn't make my mind isn't legal, but that doesn't make any sense because it's not like you guys are friends and it's like you broke her confidence or you worked for her. So that doesn't really, how long ago was this?
This was October of 2022.
Okay.
So I ended up taking down the video with the trademarks.
Mm-hmm. And anybody can look up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's public information. And I never heard from her again.
Okay. Now, Rachel Zoe sent you a cease and desist because you posted bad reviews about her Rachel Zoe box.
Yes. Because there were all these terrible reviews of it, all these horrible comments of people saying, I'm not getting my box, you're charging my card twice, and, the products are crap and all this kind of stuff. And I started doing a deep dive on it. And it's funny because I was actually like wrapping up my deep dive on it. And then I got a cease and desist that was like, you have said things about it that are defamation. And the things that they listed were things like, you said that the boxes are mostly junk. And I know that's not defamation.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the bottom line is that a cease and desist, and people will tell you this, a cease and desist is a scare tactic. And that's true. And they will also tell you, oh, you don't have to do what the cease and desist asks of you. It's not legally binding. That's also true. But a cease and desist could lead to a lawsuit. It can be a very expensive thing. And basically, I talked with lawyers both times. I would have 1,000% won in court if they wanted to sue me for these things. But the amount of money, time, and energy and the mental health toll that it would have taken on me would have been just insurmountable.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It just seems like TikTok is the wild, wild west, but you could also just say what you want and do what you want. But in your case, you do actual research. It's not just you on there being like, Skims suck. I put them on and I don't look like Kim Kardashian. So I'm going to sue Kim Kardashian. You're not on there doing that kind of crap. You actually research things. Like we were talking about something you're researching before this. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're like smart girl. What is your day job vocation?
So I work at a university and I have a position that's sort of marketing focused.
Okay.
But I've always been in the nonprofit world, fundraising, that kind of stuff. I got a bachelor's degree in communication. So I've always been kind of that person. And I've always been like a deep diver. I've always been interested in looking at things closer. Yeah. And so that's just sort of my nature. And, some people get it. Some people like it. Some people don't, and I think in a world where we're being absolutely bombarded by products and celebrities and semi-celebrities, and I don't mean this in like a, January 6th kind of way, but like do your research, on what you're buying, because with the Rachel Zoe box, there'd be like a lipstick in there and she has one of those subscription boxes, which by the way, like are complete bullshit, you guys. Like that's like it's basically like gambling. They
you mean all subscription boxes or just Rachel Zoe's?
To be honest, like almost all of them.
Okay.
I've read peer-reviewed articles on them, the way that they play with your psyche of like the next box will be better. It's the same concept as gambling, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Right. Or you'll get
I'm feeling kind of bad about my FabFitFun right now.
Oh my God, you're still doing FabFitFun? Come on.
No, here's the thing. I need to cancel it because if you miss the window to go in and like choose your things, what you get is like, all right, it's fine. I'll put it in my gift closet for next time. Like I got to take somebody a birthday gift, but also like, I don't need more things in my gift closet to take things for birthday gifts. I need to cancel it. I'm writing it down.
Did you see when they were like, oh, we're going to donate to Elon Musk because we love him so much? Did you see?
No, I did not see that. Oh, Meredith, I should be following you more.
They had to release an apology. This was like 2 months ago. They are unhinged. So anyway, and this is one of the things that I found with Rachel Zoe's box. I have not found this with FabFitFun. I do think that like the products that they put in their boxes are definitely much more legitimate. But
yes, I get like really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you'll probably get like 6 things and maybe 2 of them you like, right?
That's true.
But then you justify the other 4. But if you went to
you can't return it, so you better justify it.
Exactly. Yeah. If you went to TJ Maxx, you might find 3 things that you really like that are just a couple more dollars than, individual of the FabFitFun. But anyway,
okay, all right.
Rose box, you would see like a lipstick. and you would click on the brand and it would be like, I don't know, it would be like, glowing lipstick or something. That's the brand, Glow Lipstick. So you click on Glow Lipstick, the brand.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is so weird. They have like 70 Instagram followers. She's like, what is this brand? And then you would click, then you'd go to the website and it would be like, everything would be sold out and there'd only be like 2 products. And you would realize they set up these brands specifically for subscription boxes.
Okay.
And they're just like drop ship brands, in my opinion. And they're just drop ship brands. So how the whole point of these boxes is to introduce you to like other brands that you might then want to buy.
Yes.
So if they're just being created as one-offs for these boxes and you can't shop them and they're not like a legitimate business, what's the point?
Okay.
So there's my rant on subscription boxes.
Okay, I get it. How do you feel about Stitch Fix?
Oh, sorry, rotten hell. People are going to be so mad at me, but it's the same thing. It's the same.
Stitch Fix, though, you could return it though.
Like, but like it's the work to do it, right? Like that's another step. Okay. It's already in your home. It's a psychological thing, right?
Yeah.
These things are already in your home. It's another step to do the return. They incentivize you to keep all the items, right? Like there's like a discount if you keep all the items.
Yes.
I'm going to send you this research study on subscription boxes.
Oh God. Okay.
You're going to be like, mind blown.
Okay. Send it to me. Save me some money, please.
I love shopping. I love clothes. Whatever. But I just believe you are so much better off going and buying like 2 things that you absolutely love that fit you perfectly.
Yes.
Than something than getting these things bombarded at you and also being told like this is what you're supposed to like.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And listen, everybody do what they want to do. I'm just telling you guys, listen, if you've almost been sued over a subscription box, you know more than you ever should.
Oh my God. Okay. But it's funny though, when Rachel Zoe did come out with that subscription box, I thought, what a great idea, because she's so well known as a fashion influencer and a designer. And I don't know if she's known as a designer, but as a stylist. And people would probably really like to see what she would recommend. Like, that's a great idea. But obviously, I mean, I never subscribed to it, but I was thinking like, well, maybe it's a good idea, but I think it's like $200 and you might get like a pashmina you could get somewhere else.
Listen, there's a reason why I called her Bernie Madoff in a caftan. Allegedly.
Opinions.
It's always a gut. It's always
Meredith Lynch or not.
Every single box is a caftan. Okay.
Listen, I love a caftan.
Okay, but you can only have so many caftans.
It's true. It's true. I'm hoping to get to the point in my life where I wear a caftan every day.
Okay, I love that journey for you. And if that becomes the case, you can order as many curator boxes as you want.
I'll just go to Trina Turk and buy all the caftans. Okay, so how do you find out about like makeup? I'm very interested in makeup because, like I said, I'm a lady of a certain age and I never know what to wear, what to do. So you find stuff and like the thing you just posted is like, I was at Sephora, I got these 4 things and I really like them. Don't sleep on it. Sometimes are you incentivized to this? Sometimes do companies reach out to you and go, hey, if you like this, will you post about it?
Not really anymore.
No?
Yeah, not anymore.
Is it because you're shitting on Rachel Zoe? Is that why?
I mean, it's not helping. There are when I first started on TikTok, I was a makeup girly. I would just post makeup videos, a little bit of skincare, and then I used to get some brand deals here and there, and I still do from time to time. But now because I call things out, I don't think I get as much as I used to. Also, too, what people don't realize is that actually when you develop a really big following on TikTok, or, another social media platform, you actually sometimes are less attractive to brands. So when I had like 30, 40,000 followers on TikTok, I was getting way more subscriptions because they look at you and they think like, oh my God, you're like super niche and like your followers are really dedicated.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm not like when and I'm very straightforward of like when I'm like, oh, I got this as PR. But like yesterday I showed, I think 3 products from Ren. They have sent me stuff before, but nothing that I showed was PR. Everything was things that I went out and bought with my own money.
Well, you said that. You're like, this is just stuff I bought. And I like that too. I like when people are straightforward saying like, okay, you guys, they sent this to me and I tried it and I actually really love it. Da, 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 da. But I like that they admit like somebody sent this to me instead of just like, oh, I just happened to find this $300 face cream and I bought it on a whim to see if it works. No, you didn't. Nobody would do that,
Yeah, now it really is. You're meant to disclose that. You're meant to disclose PR as well. And a lot of people don't do that. And, you can end up getting in trouble. That's the other piece of it too, is that, if you don't disclose, it's on you, not the brand. So,
but that's a newer thing because for a long time you would see things, celebrities promoting things, or even just influencers promoting things. You'd be like, oh my gosh, wow. And it never said #ad. They never disclosed it. They were just like, I just happened to get these amazing sheets and watch me make up my bed. And you're like, oh, the sheets are beautiful. But now I don't know what the year was or when it changed or why it changed, but it's obviously now everything now has to say #ad. And we've only had a few things through our podcast that we had to, put a disclaimer or #ad or whatever, anything else. We just do like a collab with the company and it's fine. But there's a lot of rules around it.
Yeah. And I think that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like, I can't tell you how many pop chips I ate back in 2011. Thank you, Kimberly Noel. Like Kim fucking.
I love pop chips.
Pop chips. I was like, I need pop chips.
That is
so
good. I just had some on an airplane this week. They're really good. It was a choice. Okay. So I want to talk to you about people that are influencers. Let's talk about Vanderpump Rules. So what is your personal history with Vanderpump Rules? I've told you mine. Like I'm a day one Vanderpump Rules. I stand for Jax. I didn't care how mean he was. I thought he was so hot. Always loved Stassi. I listen, I know Stassi's had some problematic behavior, but she's such good TV. I need her to come back. She's not coming back. So tell me your personal history on Vanderpump Rules and how you felt about last season and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I got into VPR, I don't know, probably like 2017, 2018. And I was like, what is this? And I went back and I watched all of the early seasons and I loved it. And
were you into Jax when he was like an asshole where you're like, oh, how about if I was 22, I would have loved that guy?
Yes, kind of. Here's my thing on Jax. Okay. And I've actually had this conversation with many people. Jax is a guy who, and I don't mean this in like he would have a crush on me way. Jax would love me. If I met Jax, he would fucking love me because I just know the type of guys who think I'm funny. Jax is one of those guys. I can spot it from a mile away. He'd be like, okay. Oh God, I can't believe you say these things to these people, blah, 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 blah. And so like, to me, I'm always like, yeah, Jax would be a guy who thinks I'm funny. And all of his friends would be like, why the fuck do you like her? She's an asshole. Like, and so that I have a little soft spot for Jax.
He liked Stassi because she was so smart and because she was like, fuck off. I mean, she went toe to toe with him. And also he always said what he liked about her was she was so smart, and let's like be honest, he's not the brightest bulb. So he really liked that about her, that she had like graduated from college and, like he really, so you're right. Yeah,
I think he would like me. And so that's my soft spot for Jax. And, I have always, I did really like the show. I found it to be like for me, it was so much more relatable and accessible because like I am around the same age as a lot of the people on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
And so they're like living in apartments and having roommates and like, trading couches and things like that.
Yes.
So real. And I know some people don't like the Bravo shows when they're like really very real. But I actually kind of appreciate them. And like even now where we're at, where it's like, oh, like we split up. So, with like Schwartz and Katie, like we have to sell the house. I'm like, that is so relatable to me because that's like what my friends are going.
Yes. It's the journey we've been with them through working at a restaurant to getting a little money to now breaking up. Yeah. It's like such a long journey we've been on with these people.
Yeah. And so I will admit that I kind of fell off over the last couple of years, but Scandival brought me back in because I was like, I got to get on this. Like, it was a moment. I was at the hairdresser actually, and I got this text and I was like to my hairdresser, I'm like, dude, you're not going to believe what I just heard. And believe me, it wasn't like from somebody in the Vanderpump world, you guys. Like it was from like my friend. It was like, hey, did you see this headline? And so, I mean, it was wild. And so I don't know. I mean, it really, I think for better or worse, it was a shot in the arm for Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. So the Scandival, everything we heard about was on that Friday, which was like March 31st, April 1st, something like that. The Wednesday before, live, Watch What Happens live. They're not always live. This one was live. Right. My sister and I was in Mississippi. We were doing something. So I was in Mississippi and I got an email that was like, oh, you've been selected to be like a caller. I was like, great. I was like, I'm going to be in Mississippi. My sister will be with me. And we look alike. That'll be funny, whatever. Great. So we're going to be the caller. So it was Wednesday. That is the night that Sheena and Raquel were at the bar, that Sheena got the text from Ariana that said he's been fucking her for Raquel for 7 months. That Wednesday night when my sister and I were the caller was the night that after Watch What Happens Live, they went out and Sheena allegedly punched Raquel in the face and threw her phone in the bushes. Because, and our question was that, they give you the question, spoiler alert, they give you the question. The question was, hey, Raquel, is there, besides Tom Schwartz, is there any other guy in the Bravo universe that you think is cute? That was our question.
Oh my God.
And she was like, I think she ended up saying, maybe the guy that Giselle is dating now is some guy that was on. She said somebody from Summer House that I didn't know who it was.
Like random person she could think of.
She said somebody from Summer House. She was like, "That's a great question," and we were like, "Thanks, cheers." We did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then so it all came out on that Friday. That night, that Wednesday night, they went out there shoot partying at some bar in New York. And that's when Sheena saw the text from Ariana that said, are you with Raquel? She's been fucking Tom. And then she pulled her outside and she threw up or gets wrong, punched her in the face, but not with these nails, allegedly. That was so I feel I'm a part of history. I just am inserting myself right in.
1,000%. When they make the documentary about Scandival,
we'll be in it.
You will be in it. You will be in it. And it will be this sort of moment of like, and then here's what she could have said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I am fucking.
That Friday, I did like an emergency podcast with my friend Mandy Slutzker, who has a podcast called Is This Real Life with Mandy Slutzker? She lives in DC and we're buddies. And so I was in Mississippi, like I think I was helping my parents move or something. Anyway, I wasn't like able to concentrate. I was like every second looking at my phone, trying to get all the details. So that Friday or maybe that Saturday, I did like an emergency podcast with Mandy and she broke it all down for me, like what she had found out.
Right.
And that emergency podcast, like dropped on a Saturday, was, I think, like top 2 highest rated of last year. Like,
wow.
And it was not even like a recap. It was nothing. It was like a 20-minute. Mandy explains it to me.
Well, I think it's like people often, like, even if you're not into the show, you might want to get like the basics of what's happening because it was everywhere. And I mean,
everywhere.
Even if you don't watch Bravo. Like if you watch Dancing with the Stars, if you watch, you're
Yes.
going to see these people. If you watch Special Forces,
If you did, I don't know. Yeah.
you're going to see these people. And so you're going to hear about them and you'll be like, wait, what's the deal here? And I mean, I think when it first came out, when I first got the text, I was like, this can't be true because we do hear, you know what I mean? Like we hear these crazy rumors from time to time. And even though you think like, okay, I guess in some universe, this could be true. You think that, remember when everyone said that Kanye and Jeffree Star were an item? Like I remember being like,
yeah, you're like, that can't be right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess they're both in Wyoming. Like, and so with Raquel and Tom, I just thought, oh, this is BS. Like maybe it's that he's, hooking up with somebody else or something, but it can't be Raquel. Yeah. And then of course, the fallout.
Yes. So, all right. So, the new show is coming, Valley Village or the Valley or whatever the hell it's called. Or, with Jack's riding his kids, thing around the road, and then Kristen's going to, gotta love Kristen. I'm going to give it a shot. Are you going to give it a shot?
Okay, I will give it a shot. I don't watch a ton of reality right now, so like it's got to deliver for me to stay in it. Okay,
we'll see.
I need it to be good because I will quit very quickly. Like, there were moments last night in VPR where I was like, listen, I cannot do like that pump closing party. I was like, I would rather watch Lala and Ariana drink green smoothies for 4 hours than watch the closing party at Pump, because all I can think about is like, how old is that food?
Well, I've been to Pump and it's just like you're trying to eat and it's like a tree in your face. You're like, oh my God. Yeah. We went to Pump one time and I was like, there's like 4 tables in here because there's so much greenery. Like, where is the bar in this bar? It's like, but they,
it's cute. I mean, it's cute. It's a vibe. But I was like, when I heard that it was closing and people were like, oh my God, last hurrah at Pump. I was like, no, because they're going to if they're closing in a month, they're going to stop ordering new food now.
I just wouldn't have thought about that. So that's gross.
You know what I mean though? Like, like they're not like, oh, better make sure that we have fresh, I don't know, whatever.
Mozzarella sticks.
Right. Yeah. Like, no. But it's if people come to LA, I think it's really fun to do the restaurants and the whole vibe. Like that's fun. And I've been to, my favorite time that I went to Pump, this was 2 years ago now. I went to Pump and Lisa was there with Ken, which is very common. They're off to dinner. That's kind of their thing. And so I was like, oh my God, Lisa's here and Ken's here. Like, that's fun, whatever. And they were right behind me. And then my husband was like, oh my God, don't turn around. But Ben Affleck just came in.
Why?
And he's at the table next to Lisa.
Why?
And he's sitting with Anthony Edwards from ER.
Yes.
I was like,
Top Gun.
What?
Yes.
It was so random. So it was Ben Affleck at a high top and then Lisa at the table next to him. They did not interact. I was like, I'm never leaving. They were like, would you like dessert? I was like, you bet your ass I want dessert.
Yes. And then we're going to start back over with the appetizers. So we're here. Yeah.
What is going on? Okay. And the other thing you need to know is it was a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound but people like Ben Affleck don't go to Pump.
No, that's why I'm like, why? That makes no sense to me.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't go to Pump. 2 days later, it came out that he was back with J-Lo. I was like, what is going on here? This is so crazy.
That even makes less sense why he would be at Pump.
Exactly. So anyway, that was my favorite Pump story.
I went to Tom Tom and Schwartz and Sandy drove up on that 2-seater bicycle and got out and took their helmets off, waved to the crowd. And a bouncer told us that someone had paid $10,000. It was their birthday and they had paid $10,000 for Tom and Tom to do that, to drive up. And then this girl came out and got in the sidecar and Sandoval drove her around the block in WeHo and drove her back. It's somebody had paid for that.
Economy?
Jesus. Yeah. But they were very nice. Jax, on the other hand, just couldn't have been more Jax. He was like, podcasts are stupid. Let me know when you make some money off a podcast. Guess who has a podcast now? Jax. Um, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Y'all know I loved talking to TikToker Meredith Lynch today. She has her finger on the pulse of everything. And I loved that we talked about fast fashion and things like that because of Quince. She knows about Quince. I asked her. We discussed it. Quince.com, you guys. That is my go-to place for just luxury at affordable prices. They've got that 100% Mongolian cashmere. They've got washable silk. Today, I got an email from Quince with some new, like organic cotton, gorgeous cotton soft sweaters. Yes, did I already order 2? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm so excited. And guys, don't sleep on their 14 karat gold jewelry, their leather handbags, their luggage, their throws. You guys, they even have baby stuff. They have everything. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I love it. I love it so much. I told you guys I also got my husband 2 things for his birthday from there. Don't tell him it's today. So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. You're going to go to quince.com/pinkshade for free shipping on your order, and that's 365-day returns. QUINCE.com/pinkshade. You're going to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pinkshade. Do it, and then let me know what you got.
well,
I want to know what you thought about Anne.
Anne is too pure for this world. I mean, honestly, I don't think she's working for Tom anymore.
No,
right?
no, but she is. It is so funny. I mean, that is funny. You've got to admit, you want to keep watching just to see what Anne's doing. Anne is just like,
that I can watch.
she's like up in the gym. She's over to Ariana's. Okay, first of all, Anne, and if you're listening, your next job is get a housekeeper. What's happening in that house? What? Every room is filled with shit. Every room.
I know. I told my husband, I'm like, why the fuck does he want to have a party here? There's just so much crap. All the cleaning you'd have to do before you have the party.
I know.
I was like, no, thank you. Also, I don't want anyone in my home anymore. Like, don't take that personally if you're my friend. You can come over and hang out and vibe. But like in 2024, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to have people in my home, have a party, have to clean, have to host. I would much rather go somewhere, have somebody else take care of it. I'm like, go to a fucking cute lounge, Tom.
Yes. Yeah. But nobody, who were those people too? I mean, the funniest, James Kennedy he was a jerk to me at BravoCon, but sometimes he does have some funny lines and he's like, this is a who's who, like, who's that? Who's that?
Listen. Okay. You know what, Mary? So show some fucking respect because Kyle, the bracelet maker was there. I'm obsessed. Kyle Chan. I'm obsessed with when Tom was like being absolutely canceled, dragged through the mud. It was the darkest days of Scandival. And he was like making bracelets. Like he just kept going and making bracelets. And it was like, I don't know if it was maybe, you know how there's like art therapy?
Yeah.
That was like, he was like, I'm not going to go to like traditional therapy. I'm just going to go make bracelets with Kyle all day. But yeah, it was an interesting party. And, you know, I did think it was so funny when James pulled up and like, if anyone's watched the episode, just if you did not doc this, then I just want you to know this is how my mind works. James pulls up and like, he literally pulls up like on the, like half on the curb, half on the street and in like traffic. I was like, Allie's going to get killed sitting in the car there.
He blocked the driveway. So if anybody had to make an emergency exit, they'd have to go through the yard. He blocked the driveway. He was like, I'll be 4 minutes. I was like, there's a whole film crew. It's not going to be 4 minutes. It's for sure going to be an hour.
I was like, what is she doing in there? Did she like book one of her astrology readings while she was sitting in there? Because I was like, this is a lot of time. And listen, I'm an Allie stan.
Everybody is. Allie. You gotta be.
And so I was a little like, don't leave her in the car for too long.
But she also was like, I don't care how much I'm getting paid. I'm not going to be seen in a house with that guy because then I can't film with the girls, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Good call.
She's not dumb. Okay, so what happens is Tom wants to have a party. And Ariana says she's not on board because she's seen his parties last till 5, 6 in the morning. Everybody's, you know, allegedly coked out of their minds or doing mushrooms or whatever, and they don't clean it up, and people do it in the pool. And she's like, no. So, you know, listen, I have to make a question. I don't know if you know Brian Moylan. So Brian Moylan's a writer. He writes for Vulture. He's hilarious. He also wrote a book about the housewives, and he's the president of the Housewives Institute. That's self-proclaimed. So he's great. Brian Moylan, love you. So here's what he wrote in his Vulture article. It says, listen, I get it. Ariana has a very valid point, which is that Tom used to throw these ragers until 6 a.m., not clean up any of the trash, and sleep with her best friend in the guest room while she was in Ambien coma. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, no, you can't have a party. What are you going to like fuck my friends? Well, whatever. So anyway, they make an agreement. Anne brokers this. Anne can do anything. She's up, she's down. She's brokering the deals.
Honestly, I was like a celebrity assistant to the stars. She is, Tom Sandoval found a good one when he found Anne. But yes, carry on.
And everything. And she's like, you look great. Happy birthday. Your hat's so cute. You're going to go work out. You look good. Your muscles are great. So then we see Ariana and Sheena Shishu Shea are DJing at emo night. They're going to be at emo night anyway. I was like, do I need to go to emo night? What's emo night? Have you ever heard of this thing? Emo night?
I feel like I have heard of it. But I mean, I guess.
Do you just wear black and you're like emo?
Yeah. Emo. And I don't know. I was never emo. So.
Me either.
Yeah.
I like to wear black, but.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think you have to go.
I don't have to go. So next time I come to LA, don't need to go.
Don't have to be
okay. What are your thoughts on this house situation? Most people on the TikTok and whatnot are really a little bit leaning towards Tom's side on this house thing. Like, Ariana, take his money and just get out. But I'm just sort of like, why does she have to? Like, her whole thing is like, why do I have to move? Well,
I guess it comes down to like, what kind of money is he offering her?
He says he's offered her $500,000 over listing. Other people are like, there's not any way he has that kind of money from his cover band to be able to offer her that, because there's not any way. I don't think that's true. That's what he says.
I just think my thought on it is we don't have the numbers, so it's hard for us to know. And I think that it's given his track record with the truth. I have a hard time believing that he has made her this like incredible offer, fair offer. And I think if I were him, just given what the house represents, and also like, I don't know. I mean, the house is like so present on TV. I actually think that's like the house that they really live in. It's not gated.
It is. Yeah.
So if I were him, I think I'd want to be like fresh start. But this is part of the problem with Tom Sandoval, is that he had an opportunity and he fucking fumbled the ball, because what he could have done is actually similar to what Raquel did, and it would have been even perceived even better. He could have come out and said, you know what? It's really fucked up that I did that. I clearly have something wrong with me. I clearly have some type of like, either personality disorder or attachment disorder, that I could do something like this. So I'm going to go off the grid. I'm going to check myself into therapy, check myself into rehab, and really recenter myself. And people, like, it wouldn't have worked for everybody, but a lot of people would have loved that. Men in therapy.
Yeah. Try to figure out why you did that. Try to figure out what was in you but he was just on the Nick Vile podcast and was just like, look, she wasn't nice to me. Like, he's still like, okay, then break up. Right. In the words of Ariana, okay, then fuck my friend. Everything he says is like, then she didn't support me. Okay, then fuck my friend. Like, it's like, that's not what you do. You break up with somebody even if she says, like he said to Sheena, she said she was gonna, unalive herself. And then Sheena goes, okay, then you call all of us. You call her mom. We pick up the pieces, but you leave. Like,
right.
There's a solution to this. You're a 40-year-old man,
He's just so full of shit and he won't take any accountability. But I think if he had like done any type of like real inner self work that wasn't just like, I've been in New Zealand, like, dude, you were on that fucking reality show, and then apparently you were buying Schwartz running shoes, which I'm also like, is that a very specific gift? Did you see him give Schwartz running shoes?
I'm going to get him these shoes that he likes. It's probably because, again, he's got boxes and boxes of shit in his house that he probably got for free. And he's like, I forgot to give him these free shoes before I left when people were still sending me free shit, and now they're not. you know?
But I was like, and Schwartz is like, oh man, yeah, I love these shoes. Like, you're like, wait a second, this is a very intimate gift. Like, I don't even know if my husband needs new running shoes. Like, that's something that like you realize, like, oh, these are getting a little worn down. But anyway, long story short, if I were Tom, I think I just want a fresh start. Also, like you said, that house is just filled with so many cardboard boxes.
I know. And just clothes are everywhere. I was like, where is the bed in Ariana's bedroom? I was like, I understand because she travels a lot. She's probably like, these 12 outfits for this trip, whatever. Yes. But get a stylist. See if Rachel Zoe's got a protege. Get somebody over there to get you organized. I was so stressed. And I personally, if I shifted this camera just a little, you would see the hoarder hell I'm living in over here, trying to sell my shit on Poshmark. But so I get it. And I don't even want to walk in here because it's so chaotic. It's chaotic. And their whole house is like that.
Yes.
Yes. And so, also let's talk about his band. So he's got a cover band. It's a huge band with 20 members, and they have a manager, and they play cover songs, and they have like a light show. How much money can they make? They're playing venues that seat like 100.
Right. And if you've got to pay 20 people plus
like, a manager, right, plus travel,
costs, right. That's a passion project. That is a passion project.
Yeah.
And, if Tom Sandoval has had all these little things that he's done, restaurants and the band and, making necklaces with Kyle. Mm-hmm. Like, I would say pick a lane and stay in it. And maybe that's reality TV. But like the whole point of the band too is that I feel like we have to almost take it semi-seriously. Like we almost have to like act like, oh yeah, his music.
I don't think so. Is that? Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a cover band. So, we did find out about Sheena was explaining that she had started Zoloft because she had been diagnosed with postpartum OCD, which was pretty interesting. And she talked about it on Watch What Happens Live too. And the way she described it. So when I've heard about people with severe postpartum depression, you think of Andrea Yates, people that unalive their children because of it. Their intrusive thoughts are more about hurting the children, right? Her intrusive thoughts are OCD and that she literally can't be away from her child because she thinks horrible intrusive thoughts of something's going to happen to her child. Like she sees things in her mind of what may happen to her kid. It's very interesting to hear her talk about it because it obviously is two sides of the same coin. It's intrusive thoughts one way or the other.
Right.
And then she said, Watch What Happens Live. It's hard to diagnose because you're telling someone it's not necessarily depression, but it's like, I can't stop thinking of this, that, and the other is going to happen to my kid. So she trusts nobody. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. She got diagnosed with this. She's getting help for it. We see sort of a play out of her having this. Now this babysitter comes over and they have a full family brawl in front of the babysitter.
Well, and also too in front of my sweet Summer Moon. I was like, and Summer Moon is, she's old enough to babies pick up on energy.
She can spell.
Summer Moon can definitely pick up on energy.
And they're all fighting and talking about like who's going to watch you in front of her.
Right.
That was wild.
That being that age, she can pick up on Sheena being, anxious or whatever. And I feel like, I guess Summer Moon was probably born during the pandemic, like pretty deep in the pandemic because she's like 3 years old. So she was probably born in like 2021.
Yeah, good point.
And, I think just all of us coming out of that time and mental health and like Sheena probably had to be very alone with her in the beginning, probably more so than like people normally have to be with a baby.
Right.
I think that's taking a toll on all of us, right?
Oh, yeah. The things that have come out of the pandemic, and I think about my own kids and where they were in high school at the time. And my son now as a senior in high school is really sort of dealing with the ramifications of really not going to school for a year and a half, right? So now he's looking at going, and the kids that before, like my daughter included, that went to college, they don't know how to go to school. Right. Because when you're really learning how to go to school and take notes, and they didn't do it. everything was online, and it's like, here's the computer homework, but literally here's the Xbox, here's the TV. Nobody was doing school.
Yeah.
So that's a great point about people that had babies during that time. What the kids grew up with, it's so much focus from their parents because parents couldn't go anywhere.
Right, exactly. And you have a lot of time for things to feel a certain way. You know, Sheena, I know she does like her podcast. She does obviously the show. Everything was stopped. Everything was delayed. And so, yeah, I think it is, you know, very real. And I think Sheena strikes me as someone who is probably already a little anxious.
A little nervous. Yeah. Yeah.
In a bad way. Cause like, I totally get it. But like, she is someone who even on the show is always like sort of worrying about people and, you know, who's getting along, who's fighting. And she often puts herself into the middle. And I said the week after Scandival, I said on my Patreon, I said, the first person to make up with Tom and hang out with him, other than Schwartzy, will be Sheena. And sure enough, it was.
Because she just can't take it. She's got middle child syndrome, right? She just wants everybody to
get along.
To get along. Now, when Allie was sitting in the driveway, James tried to talk to Sandoval. He's like, you want to go in here in like the front room and like we could chat? Because I mean, for some reason, James like, I don't want to go outside because he's like, who are these people by the pool? Like, I can't. So they go in the front room, which is like in everybody's house, like the room that nobody uses. They go in the front room. And he's like, I think you owe me an apology. Like, you gave me the ultimate betrayal. I was like, it wasn't the ultimate betrayal, James. First of all, you were with Allie. It's been 2 years since you dated Raquel. It wasn't the ultimate betrayal. It was real shitty. It was. And it did affect James in a way.
Great.
This was his ex-fiance, you know, all that. So it's not great. But it's not the ultimate betrayal was to Ariana. I mean, you know.
Right.
But James tries to make it about him. That's fine. Well, then Sandoval, as he does, tries to turn it around like, well, remember 10 years ago, you know, you banged Kristen, da, da, da. So he's like, nope, we're not going to bring it 10 years ago. But I think Sandoval had a right to bring that up. But also it's his excuse. You know, it's his excuse. It's like, well, everybody on this show has cheated on everybody. Like, let's get real about it. Everybody has. But the situation is not the same.
No,
it is not the same. Sandoval, like you just said, it would just be so much easier if he would just go, man, you know, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking. That was a horrible mistake. I wish I could talk to Raquel to tell her, I'm sorry, I put her in this position. I made a mistake. I'm trying to get my life back on track. Can you forgive me? But no, he's like, well, remember what you did? He's trying so hard.
He does that every time when anyone brings up anything of substance, anything to hold him accountable. And listen, at the end of the day, I do feel like he did apologize to James. Like on the reunion, he did express empathy towards James or, you know, apologized to James. It might not be the apology that James wanted, but that's something that you also kind of have to learn in life is like, you're not always going to get the apology that you want. You're not always going to walk away from it feeling like you have the closure or whatever.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of a lesson for James.
Yeah.
To just say, okay, well, you know what? Sandoval is clearly a very limited person. And he gave you about as much as he could give you in terms of an apology. And it's better than what he gave Ariana. And it's way less of a betrayal than what he did to Ariana. And it's way less of a betrayal than what Raquel did to Ariana. And like, you know, be mad at Raquel if you're going to, you know what I mean? Like, and even though it should be, but it's like, I just think this to me is a good way for James to kind of stay active in the storyline is to get really continue this sort of thing. And it's like, how many times do you have a conversation?
That's a great point. But I mean, you know, in my opinion, Sandoval's got no allies here, as we saw from that party. He's got nobody. He's got Cal Chan, but he needs friends. So, you know, and he needs allies on this show, right? To he's going to stay on the show. I mean, no matter what, because of course we got Scandival. We can't have Scandival without Sandoval. But he should have just said to James, "You know what, man? I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm shitty." And then let James go out in the driveway with Allie and head out because he needs one person. And right now he's got 0 people. I mean, he's got Schwartz, but Schwartz is very much like on the fence. Yeah.
He has Schwartz, and to him, that's really all he needs.
That's all he wants. It's his bestie.
Right? Like, that is, Schwartz is his ride or die. And, you know, they enable each other. I think
Yes.
they're very codependent.
Yes.
But also, kind of a beautiful example of straight male friendship, which we don't really get on TV. Like, if we could take away all the like problematic things that they help each other do and like enable one another, like God, they really do care about each other. They really do have similar senses of humor. And I don't know, it's kind of like, if they could just not be such dicks all the time, because they both are in their own special way.
Oh God. Schwartz is just, it's like everything is like, I'm so cute. I'm so
Right.
lovable. And you're like, we have seen the horrible things you have said to your wife.
Yes.
Horrible. Like, I would want to fuck you anyway. Gross. I'm like, that's your wife.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Well, all right. So do you watch any other reality shows? I know that when I asked you to come on, you were like, oh, I don't watch a ton of Bravo. And I was like, but you watch Vanderpump. I mean, and you're like, oh, well, of course I watch Vanderpump.
Yeah.
Any other reality shows? Do you ever get down in the trash with us in our like 90 days and our Love After Lockups? Did you ever touch into that trash that I like to cover?
So I used to do a lot of those shows. I don't do as much anymore. I'm thinking about doing Traitors. Are you watching Traitors?
Of course. Hello.
I'm thinking about dipping into Traitors. I feel like when I consume so much via like TikTok and Instagram, these shows, you almost kind of feel like you watch them. So
yes.
I definitely have pulled back on it. And I feel like, Bethenny, to her credit, like right message, wrong messenger. Like, some of these shows aren't great for women, and it can be hard to see them like sort of have these downfalls. Like, I look at Shannon Bedore, who has just like, that woman has been through the fucking ringer on reality TV, and you should not drive drunk at all. That's awful. But, just so many of these women have struggled. Or even look at Sandoval, who like 10 minutes ago was like, I'm sober, I quit drinking. And then like today he's posting like drinking Bloody Marys on an airplane. So I'm like,
is he going somewhere with his cover band? Did they book a gig in Amsterdam?
With the new girlfriend.
Oh, she must have some money.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty. So, I can watch them. I have to sort of check that when I watch these things. I have to check the analysis of it, and I can do it. It's trash, and like a lot of it I know is like scripted, etc. So I don't do a ton of the reality shows. Everybody, don't hate me, but
it's okay.
About Traitors, I'm very into the Gilded Age right now on HBO.
Love the Gilded Age. Love
that. Like, that for me is like just. That's like my escape show. And my husband and I have been rewatching Beverly Hills 90210 season 1.
Wow. Well, that's a deep cut. See, I watched that like when it was originally out because I'm an old lady, but oh, wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
And I have to admit, I mean, like, we're making fun of it, but it kind of holds up.
Probably the outfits and the hairdos don't hold up, but probably the storylines. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty and also like, because there's just not a lot of great TV on these days. So it's like
there's comfort in something you already know.
Right.
Like we put on Friends every single night before bed because that's what my husband and I, we're the age of the Friends. And like you were saying, for us, Friends was exactly where we were in our life when it came out. Like, we were exactly that age, exactly like moving to a big city, getting an apartment, like from smaller cities. So when Friends is on, I could just we just say the lines, we just walk through the room. So I get that comfortability of just wanting to watch something that you already know it's going to happen. It washes over you, like Kelly Taylor and her pregnancy scare. Like, I get it.
My mom never wanted me to watch Beverly Hills 90210. She's like, you're too young for it. And now watching it now, I'm like, oh yeah, I was too young for it. Like, oh my God, the things that I would have been afraid of.
I forget they were all 30 years old playing high schoolers. And you're like, that's not weird at all. That's not weird at all.
They also do look so fucking old. Like, watching them, you're like,
no filters back then, no Botox, no nothing. They're all just with their 30-year-old faces playing 16-year-olds. Yes.
But actually probably better because I wouldn't want 16-year-olds to be exploring some of those topics.
Oh my God. Well, I did love the Gilded Age, and Traitors is really good because there are people on Traitors that that are the reality stars that I know nothing of Big Brother. I know nothing of Survivor. So they come on, they're like, oh my God, this guy's the best player in the Big Brother game ever. I'm like, do they live in a house? They get voted out? Like, what's that show? So they're saying this guy's like this amazing game player, but I'm like, not for where I'm
From what I'm
sitting.
seeing, not when you put him up
Mm-mm.
against Phaedra.
Who would go? That's the thing too. What's interesting is because a lot of them going in don't know a Phaedra, so they don't know because she's like, "Oh my goodness, well bless your heart. Well, that's so sweet. I love to have a glass of wine." Like they don't know about Phaedra. She will cut you. They don't
And
know.
she's letting them know. I've been
Yeah.
watching the clips. I love it. I'm a Phaedra stan.
Well, once
So,
you catch up to where we are now in the traders with Phaedra,
mhm.
she's letting them. She's letting them know.
Nice.
She's letting them know. I
Good
love
for
it.
her.
I love it. We're going to be covering coming up a little bit on the free feed, and then mostly over on Pink Shade Prime. We're going to be covering Love Is Blind, which I've never covered before. I always just like watch it as a fan, and then
Yes.
sort of like if somebody asks me to guest, I'll guest on it. But when I cover something, I'm sure that you feel this way. It's way different because I'm really concentrating, I'm really writing notes, I'm really trying to do the research, but. So I'm going to be doing that for Love Is Blind, and it doesn't take the fun out of it for me, but it's more of I have to really watch and take notes, whether I could just like play games on my phone or
Right, exactly.
scroll
Or just
TikTok
like
at the
watch
same
for the,
time.
like, clickbaity moments. But like even me last night, I'm like, wait a minute. What's going on with these running shoes?
Yes.
You really have to follow. You end up following these things, but you watch them in a different way, and it does end up being more fun. Like I was like, oh, like I think I enjoyed the episode of Vanderpump, knowing that I was going to get to come and talk to you about it today.
You're like, let me land down on Anne. Where's Anne right now?
Right?
What's she
I think
doing?
Anne has a podcast, right?
I'm sure she does. Everybody has a podcast, Meredith.
Not me. Not me.
I've heard though, you might have a podcast soon.
We're trying.
If you do have a podcast at some point, which you have a great platform and you should, why, what would you talk about? What would you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think my thought is having more of these conversations that we often have on TikTok, having them on a podcast.
Long form.
In more long form. So I'll tell you, I've been talking to some people who a lot of people love behind the scenes on TikTok, on Instagram, about coming on. So I think there'll be some really great guests. And I want to, I don't get the PR packages anymore. I don't get invited to the stuff anymore. And it's not necessarily because I don't have a following. I have a pretty big following.
A big following, yes.
I am not afraid to call out the bullshit. And,
yeah,
I know that there are people who want that. There are people who would rather get the person saying like, hey, well, you know why this clothing company went downhill? Because it was bought out.
Yes, I like that stuff too. You know who I love on TikTok? EIC. Do you know her? So she's a girl. It's EIC, and her name is whatever it is, but EIC is who she is on TikTok. And I bet if you looked right now, you'd be like, oh, I totally know her. She does, she's Southern and she does true crime stuff. And she always says for educational purposes only is what she always says. Because she's always like allegedly and for educational purposes only. And she talks about true crime. And I think she's from somewhere in Alabama. So of course I relate with her. But oh my God, she just is like, here's, I'm going to tell you all about this case. She is where I heard about the graveyard behind the jail in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, what's funny is like, I just pulled her up and I don't think I've ever seen her on here before, but
so it's what your algorithm gives you. Isn't that so interesting?
But I'll definitely check her out. But what's like the funniest thing is sometimes somebody will like recommend somebody that I follow and I'll look them up and I'll be like, oh, they blocked me.
Oh, she wouldn't have blocked you. She wouldn't have blocked you. She just does true crime stuff. And she is hilarious. She was on there one day and she was talking about, something like the Murdoch or something.
Yeah.
She does things that you've never heard of and things that people are following closely. And she was like, I know y'all are looking at my lips right now. I know they look crazy as hell. I just got them done, but give me a day. They're going to look great. Okay, let's go.
Oh my God. That's like me. Because everyone gives me such a hard time about my lip filler. They're so mean about it.
First of all, your lips look amazing. And I'm about to get some lip filler from a Bunkie. a bunkie. That's what we call our listeners, the bunkies. There's a bunkie that we have that has like, he's a nurse anesthetist, and
Yeah.
he has a whole med spa, and he's about to give me some lip filler because he told me he could do it for me where it won't hurt. I'm like, okay,
It's
let's do
really
it.
not that painful. It's really not.
Girl, I've done it. Don't try to tell me it's not painful.
Okay.
I've done it. It hurts like shit. I've never had anything hurt worse in my life. Nothing.
You know what's so funny is like I was like feeling like my lip filler was migrating a lot. And then when I went to go get my Botox done, she was like, oh, it's just because you usually get Botox like in this area. So we just need to do your Botox. And I was like, oh, okay. So we did it. And like since then, no one has given me shit about my lip filler. So it all ends up becoming about balance because, I do the Botox, I do the fillers, and I think it's totally a personal choice if you want to do them.
Yes, of course.
And I've gone really long periods of time without doing them, but I like it. I think that, it makes me feel better about myself. But again, like that's such a personal choice.
I am all like, do what you want. When people are like, I can't believe so-and-so got this lower facelift, or so-and-so went on Manjaro. I was like, do what you want. Right. If it makes you feel better and it's good for your brain and it's good for you, especially even if you have to be on camera all the time or you don't, you're just going to the office and you feel better. I think it's not like taking away food out of your children's mouths. I think you do it.
1,000%. And like, people like you and me who are on camera a lot, like we see all these little things and we also like make decisions about what if and what we want to work on. Right. I mean, like to me with the Botox, when people give me a hard time about getting Botox, I'm like, yeah, but like if you're buying like wrinkle creams and all this other stuff, right, you're also trying to combat the same thing.
Yeah.
But my way is just like way easier.
I love how you're not like, see this cream right here? This is what helped me get rid of all of my wrinkles. You're like, no, it's Botox, bitch. Come on now.
It is such Botox. And, you can do it in a way that like, I still have a lot of movement and
me too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Like, but the other thing that people don't realize with Botox is like, it's gone in 4 months.
You have to do it again. I know. I try to stretch everything out to 6 months. I try to okay, in March, I have to go to LA. So I think at the end of February.
What are you doing out here? Anything fun?
I'm going to be a speaker on a panel at Podcast Movement. Nice. It's a big podcast conference. And I'm going to be on a panel with Matt and Jake, my friends from Reality Gaze, and Chris and Wah from DocuSweeties, and then our friend Kate Casey, who I think is going to
sure.
Kate's going to be our moderator, and so I'm going to be out there for. I think we're going to be there like 8 days. The little conference is like 3, but I'm like, you're going to go all the way over to the West Coast. I may as well.
Yeah, we should link up.
We'll link up.
Yeah,
we'll link up. We'll do it. We'll do a TikTok.
I would love that. We got to get you more than 2,000 followers.
Listen, if I could break 10,000 on Instagram, this is all I want. I'm like at 8,700. And when I tell you, I am begging people and I don't know what it takes. I think it takes, I've had Instagram people tell me like, oh, you have to do more memes. And I'm like, okay. So then I'll do a couple like, oh, that was a funny idea. So I'll do a funny one about Anne from Vanderpump Rules. No, I don't get any new followers from that.
Yeah. I don't think memes are going to do it. I think it's about doing video right now, doing reels.
Yeah.
Reels are the biggest thing. I think reels from here or reels from you talking about what's going to be on here. Yeah. I'll text you more thoughts.
Give me all your thoughts. So Meredith, Constant, the other Meredith, is on my podcast on the weekends now on Pink Shade Prime. We're talking about 90 Day Single Life and Smothered, which is just real super trashy. And she's also, big on the TikTok, and she's also trying. I was like, I need the young people to teach me their ways. Like I told my kids, so my kids are 18 and 20. And I was like looking at something on TikTok. I go, I got this one video that had like 32,000 views. Like that's really good, but I don't have 32,000 followers.
And views don't really mean shit.
But they were like, how many likes does it have? I go,
yeah,
I don't know, like 4,000. They're like, Mom. It's like, oh, I thought that was good.
4,000 likes is not bad. But like when you look at because this is a little thing I do on the side is like I do a little TikTok consulting. If
Okay.
out there wants some views are fine, like it's great, but really what you want to be looking at is engagement. So that's going to be shares, likes, comments.
Okay. So like if I repost somebody's, like if I copy the link and give it to somebody, does that count as a share? Like if I, it'll know that I hit copy link. Mm-hmm. It'll know that I copied the link and then I forward it to my mom or something. Exactly. But I also do repost sometimes when things are really good.
Like you'll repost other people's?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's
just because that's to be nice
thing to do. But I think
nice thing to do.
The biggest thing is like, you can usually tell when a video is going to pop off because the comments are like immediately churning. Okay. So, and then
what do I do?
Then you jump in and start like responding to them, and you might respond with a video to one or two that have lots of likes and kind of keep the momentum building. Okay. So yeah, that's really a key to TikTok is looking at what the engagement is beyond views. Because like I will have a video that might do like 10,000 in views, but it's got like 100 likes or something. That's an exaggeration, but like that's not doing much for me.
Right. Yeah. It's a whole new world, and I'm trying.
We're here to walk you through it, my friend.
Oh my God. I need all the help I can get. I do have a wonderful social media manager, and I texted her this morning and I said, hey, I'm doing a podcast for the free feed. We're not supposed to say free feed anymore. We're supposed to say public feed. For the public feed later today with Meredith Lynch. She's a big TikToker, but once the video is up, I'll send it to you if you can help me do a reel. And then I was like, let's make it go viral. # no pressure. She wrote back, okay. Like she's like, okay, old lady, I'll help you. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the pressure is really on me.
It is. It is.
And it's like an hour of me talking about Schwartz getting running shoes.
What could be better? What kind of running shoes were they? Did you take note? Because I didn't.
I feel like they were Asics, but I could be wrong. They were, no, they were in a blue box. I mean, I really was paying attention to the running shoes because it did feel like an oddly personal gift. They are like toxic besties. They really are toxic best friends.
They got, 100% you think he got a box of those shoes for free to be on TV.
And honestly, he probably got sent the wrong size. That's probably what it was. Or he went to a gifting thing and he grabbed an extra pair of shoes. That's what it was. He didn't like buy Schwartz a pair of shoes. Like no one in their right mind goes to a store and is like, I'm going to get my friend a gift. What are you going to get them? Probably like a pair of running shoes.
I was at Foot Locker and I thought I'd just pick up a second pair and a 9.5 for Schwartz.
Right? Like no one has ever done that. Even like with my own husband, where like I will sometimes you've probably been this way too. Like I'm at Macy's, I'm like, oh, he really does need like a couple new pairs of like undershirts or socks or whatever. Yes. I will grab that. I will never walk into a Foot Locker and be like, yeah, I'm going to pick him up a new pair. Never. You fucking figured out your own shoes, sir. I'm never doing that.
My husband got some new running shoes the other day because we really love Hoka's. That's like our shoe of choice in this family. And I saw downstairs by the door these Hoka tennis shoes, and I go, I've never seen you wear those tennis shoes ever. He goes, because I wear them to the gym. So he goes downstairs, puts them on, goes to the gym, comes back in the house, takes them off. And then he goes, I've had those shoes for a year. I didn't know they existed. They just happened to fall out of his little bin of shoes. I was like, so no, I would not buy him shoes because I don't even fucking know what shoes he wears. Right? So I certainly don't know what my best friend wears. Do not.
I'm going to send you a pair of running shoes.
I like Hoka's. And all right, Meredith, tell everybody where they could find you on the TikTok and all the things that you do. Because you guys need to follow Meredith because she's smart. She digs in deep. And if you're like a famous, wealthy person, watch out. She's coming for you probably.
Yeah, I'm the billionaire babysitter. So you can find me yelling into the void on TikTok and Instagram, Meredith M. Lynch. I also have a Patreon and I do daily Patreons, y'all. I'm putting in work. Daily fucking 10-minute Patreons. Okay?
About all the same TikTok stuff and just like more deeper.
Like what, I'll tell you what I really think about James Kennedy on the Patreon today.
Oh, people know what I think about him after he was rude to me at BravoCon. I'm like, I was a stan that morning, that afternoon. Nope.
Well, I'll tell you the things I had to say today. Not great. Not great.
All right.
Listen, Kristen Dowdy said some things that I believe.
Oh, totally. You guys want to know some stuff about James? Go to Kristen's, she did it on her podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like her public feed.
Yeah.
She was out there just saying, but we knew this. We knew this. Any dude that spits at you is probably done worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Allegedly. We don't know his life.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
This was so fun. And I will hit you up when I'm in LA. And what I say to everybody is I'm going to stop this video, but please don't hang up. And everybody, you know, if you're here and you're listening because of Meredith, I beg you, please find me on the Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. I'm on TikTok at Pink Shade Podcast. Just look up Pink Shade. It'll pop up. And literally, I'm out here begging. Like, what do I have to do? I'll send you a sticker. Look. If you follow me, I'll send you a sticker. Give me your address. All right. Thanks, Meredith. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.